What would you do if you can earn 1 million credit card points per year?
Definitely over a million. And you
A
know what's
million
great?
points in 1 year?
It's easy when you're in real estate and you have a business.
So in this episode, I'm interviewing Jaina Pallasigui, and she did just that. She earned over 1 million points in 1 year, and she breaks down exactly how you can do it and then get luxury travel experiences.
Then you get 70,000 Hawaiian miles. So I am now going to Hawaii on their new Dreamliner. I use my Chase points to book the Hyatt Regency for 3 nights. So that's completely free. And then I'm staying another 3 days in Turtle Bay. It has a very unique promotion where you get the third night free in Fine Hotels and Resorts program.
We took us and our 2 kids to Hawaii completely on points. I think for all 4 of us and the hotels for the week. So if you're a real estate investor or a business owner and you want to figure out exactly how to maximize the expenses that you have to then get free travel, you're not going to want to miss out on this episode. Well, Jaina, thanks for jumping on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Josh. Appreciate it.
So for those who don't know who you are, Jaina, give me the quick 30-second background. What do you do? Why are you so awesome?
Sure. So the main thing I do is I help real estate investors use their business expenses and real estate investing in order for them to get nearly free travel, to put it simply. But I also am a real estate investor myself. I have a couple long-term units in Evansville, Indiana. I also own a remote co-hosting business called Premier's Management, where we operate properties for owners in San Diego, California, Montgomery, Alabama, Cleveland, Ohio, as well as Houston, Texas.
I love it. And also, before the show, you were telling me that you still have a day job.
I
Kudos.
do. Got to represent for the W-2 sometime. With the millennials, it's hard to leave. It's hard to leave. So I'm
I
a
know.
public health professional and I run a county-wide quit smoking program. So I help people quit smoking.
Okay. So then quit smoking during the day, park money, and then travel for free.
Exactly. It's the best combo, I'm telling you.
And then let's do a couple highlights just for excuses for people to stay on to the end of the show.
Yeah.
Favorite travel mile hacking thing that you've ever done with your credit card points?
Oh, very easy. So one of my it's a long-term rental property in Evansville, Indiana. It had $26,000 of renovation needed, which I wrapped into a commercial loan. So I didn't have to put any money down for that rental. But what they did was they gave me a check for $26,000 and they're like, give this to your contractors to renovate. So I said, oh, you're just going to give me a check? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, wait, I'm going to do something with this, Josh, right? I'm going to do something with this. So what I did was instead of just giving my contractors that check from my bank, I actually opened business credit cards to accrue like thousands of points and miles and then use that check to just pay off my contractors from that credit card expense. Then I use those points to take a round trip flight on Emirates business class. So this is over $6,000 flight from JFK to Milan. And then while I was there, just that one renovations points for me to get 3 Hyatt at the time. It's with Hilton now, but it was the Grand Hotel. It's a 5-star luxury hotel, thousands of dollars a night that I got for free because of my renovation from my property. So that was my favorite one.
That's pretty baller. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, another teaser. At this
Sure.
point, we're getting into it. But
Yeah.
what's the most amount of points you've accrued in 1 year? Ballpark.
Oh, definitely over a million. And you
A
know what's
million
great?
points in 1 year?
It's easy when you're in real estate and you have a business. Like I said, I'm a real estate investor, but then I also have a business. So for those of you who have Airbnbs or midterm rentals, you're paying for the cleaners, you're paying for the handyman, you're restocking your supplies, you're paying for your hospitable, all those software and tech stack that you use. Just run it through the right credit cards. It literally becomes automated. And before you know it, you're like, boom, a million points. But of course, I have renovations. So I try to get 1 to 2 properties and not burr it, but reverse burr it because I use like a subject to appraisal loan. But essentially, I'm still doing sweat equity and renovating it. So those renovation costs are accruing a lot of points and miles as well. So it's so easy to hit a million. And I bet you, Josh, right now people are listening to 26,000 for renovation. I do quadruple that a quarter. And that just goes to show how many first class and business class flights, how many luxury hotels you can do if I'm doing it at this scale with very little points.
Okay, very good teasers, by the way, because you know.
Sure.
Okay, and then just give me, obviously, real estate investor, but what does that actually mean? What's the portfolio look like today?
Sure. So I have 9 units in Evansville, Indiana. They're all long term. They're 5 single family homes ranging anywhere from 2 to 3 bed. And then I have 1 quadplex. So I have a whole team out there, property management team that manages for me. So it's very passive on my end. And eventually I'm going to leverage that to obviously scale to hopefully in a home in California or something that has more equity, because while those have decent cash flow, it's never going to replace replace my W-2 anytime soon. Living in California, that's really tough with midterm rentals unless I have 50 or 60 of them.
I
And
agree.
yeah, and then so we manage a property in San Diego, California. That one is short-term rental. Then we manage two properties in Montgomery, Alabama. Those are midterm. And then one in Houston, which is a hybrid, so short-term and midterm. And then one in Cleveland, which is midterm. So a
Okay.
little bit of active real estate investing and passive combined.
Okay, and then let's rapid fire through the portfolio here a little bit. Why did you start in the Midwest?
This sudden urgency to learn about financial literacy because I saw like the
Mm,
stock market drop and I need to do something. What do I do? So I started learning about stocks, got into that. I even got into crypto, a little bag. So I'm waiting for that bull run, maybe. But then it led me to real estate because I had a friend in church who's now my business partner for the co hosting business. And he's, Jane, I bought a house. I was like, what? Where? Because we live in Orange County. I'm like, bro, where did you buy a house? And he was
mm.
like, nah, it was in Indiana. Guess how much it was? And at the time, I don't know, Californian mind, I'm like, 200K. He was like, it was $38,000. I was like, for a house? And he was like, a whole house. And I was like, oh my God. And I just couldn't believe that there were properties out there outside of California that are cheaper than the cars driving around in my neighborhood. So that's what sparked my interest because I just copied and pasted what he did. So my path to real estate was easy because I just copied somebody, right?
Yeah.
It just got me so far. But I feel like now I'm in a point like, where do I scale? What's my next move to get more cash heavy kinds of investments instead of this slow grind of long-term rentals in the Midwest?
I know. So I'm conflicted on that myself, right? Like
Yeah.
we have our long-term rentals in the Midwest, and obviously hindsight's 2020. It's like we could just bought more of those burrs 4 years ago, and it would be real interesting on the equity side. So we started to exit some of those now, but then we dumped a bunch of cash into short-term rentals, which has its own different plays, pros and cons too.
Great.
But that first deal for you in the Midwest, how much did you get it for? Was it
It was 40,500, two bedroom, one bath, single family home.
okay? And that was rent ready?
Yeah, there was actually tenants in it already. So it was like cash flowed from day one.
And what did
And
it rent for?
gosh, it was like 750 monthly. But
Okay.
then my mortgage with 30-year conventional was like 230 per
Okay,
month.
making
Wild. That's wild.
I yeah. Okay, and then this I'm guessing that's not in the main, like, major metro. Is it, like, right
No.
outside?
It's about 2.5 hours southwest of Indianapolis.
Okay. And so what gave you the confidence to buy I know a lot of people say major metros only, and now you're outside the
Right.
major metro. What gave you that confidence?
It was my competitive advantage of seeing someone younger do it so easily. And I was like, if he could do it, I could do it. And you know what? I feel like a lot of people just get stuck in analysis paralysis because they're like, oh my God, the crime rate or the population growth is so stagnant. If I actually did my market analysis and did a deep dive on Evansville, I probably would have never invested because a higher crime rate, the population growth is going down. I wouldn't have touched it with a 10-foot pole. But because I saw someone do it, I was like, because I had a W-2,
Mm,
that gives me the privilege of a safety net that if this didn't work out because it's such lower cost, I'm fine, right?
mhm.
It's not gonna wipe me out financially. So I had that safety net of W-2. I saw someone like proof of concept, and I had an urgency to better my financial situation. So all those three things combined during COVID really allowed me to take that step forward that I was afraid to take for several years.
Love it. Okay, so obviously, you're floating a $200 mortgage.
Yeah,
You can easily blow one dinner.
I'm fine. Yeah, literally on a weekday in the OC, easy.
And how many in that market did you end up was that the only one, or how many did you end
Oh,
up
yeah. So I got four more single family homes, and then I
okay?
got my quadplex, and then I got another single family home after that. So nine
All in
units
the same market.
all in the same market because I developed a good relationship with my lender. The first two rentals, I just did regular year conventional loan, but everything after, so units 3 through 9, they allow me to do conventional loans, which have a 5-year arm, and they let me do subject to appraisal loans, which essentially wraps the renovation costs in the beginning. It's like a reverse burr. So I
Mm,
could come to the deal with no money down. I just need to pay the mortgage during the months that's being renovated. So
wow.
it's no money down, right? And then I use my W-2. I'm like, I'm fine. And then those first two rentals essentially cover the mortgages during those times it's getting renovated and vacant. So I was like, let me keep doing this if this is still an option for me. So that's why I stayed in that market.
And so was that through a local bank?
Yeah, it was through local, and then this is why I love it. And I'm a bit spoiled with real estate because my
Okay.
realtor is also the lender. He also is the contractor. So it was like all in one. That's why I didn't leave. It was too easy. It
You
was too
basically got a turnkey service without having to exit
exactly
the
all
market.
in one. So that's why I'm like low key scared to enter a different market because I was like, oh, I have to do it the real way. Like I have to find my own team. I have to make sure I do the underwriting right. And it's a little bit more vetting and a longer process. But at the same time, super lucky to let people know that, hey, if you're looking for that all in one kind of situation, they're out there. They're harder to find. But
Yeah.
with people with a W-2, it just makes it so much easier to be more hands off.
And how did you find them?
My business partner originally found him on Bigger Pockets.
That's yeah, it's very easy to find who's the loudest and most helpful on gets or some of these forums, and obviously a lot of those are now also trying to build their book of business. I think the
Mhm.
guys who are a little more established, I see it seems like they fall off a little bit just because now they have their recurring clients and not pitching
Exactly,
much.
exactly, agree.
So, and then are you still buying in that market?
I've taken a pause. The
Okay.
reason why is I'm trying to see what's the next route for me because there's nothing stopping me from getting my 10th rental, and low key, I'm feeling a little OCD that it's 9. I don't like the 9, right? I was like, why not just 10? But I'm like, okay, Jaina, is like another Midwest property, and at this point, maybe gonna cash flow $100. Is that really worth it? Because you get like one plumbing issue, it wipes out all of your income for a year. So I'm teetering with the idea of maybe I should just get an Airbnb in the rural areas that are more affordable because I already
Mhm.
know how to operate them. Or one thing that really interests me, because I'm also in public health, I have a friend who's an investor and she's making accessible in rural markets. So she is renovating this home in Yosemite, making it really good for people with disabilities and seniors. I was like, ooh, I like that. That's an interesting take. I was like, yo, you should promote that at assisted living facilities because the Californians want a getaway. They need those baths with the handbars. They need the bigger entrances and the driveways, no stairs. It makes so much of a difference where they feel like I could feel like I'm comfortable to actually take a shower when I take a vacation. I was like, you need to promote to them, girl. So I was like, ooh, that's interesting. So Evansville is paused and
Okay.
I'm trying to reverse engineer Jaina. What's going to replace your W-2 faster? So it's could be real estate or it could be buying businesses. So figuring it out.
That's actually something that's been on my mind too, right? I think it seems like for people who are on podcasts, we're the rare breed where we're not full-time real estate professionals. Like not selling loans, not
Yeah.
agents. So we're not really making money directly on a real estate transaction. And what is going to be the lever to make W2 optional?
And I have a hard time with that too, because I feel like in the real estate space, there's a lot of W 2 shaming, which is warranted, absolutely warranted. I get it. There's some jobs, most jobs are awful. But then you have some people like me, and maybe other people who are like, I like my W 2. I like having a 401k. I like health insurance. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it's not bad. And a lot of people are starting to realize, hey, if you optimize your W 2, like I have in the past 12 years being in the same job, it gives you more time freedom to figure out your next step of maybe exiting that W 2 or other sources of income. So maybe you don't have to work full time eventually.
I like it. You know what it is?
But
It's making content of here's how I left my W2 through real estate in 2 or 3 years is the most viral friendly content,
uh-huh,
right?
uh-huh.
And versus there's not many people who are also saying, I'm sticking with my W2 because XYZ, even though I'm also doing this.
Exactly. And also, it's harder to do the second one, right? Because you don't want your work to be seeing that you're talking about, I'm trying to leave you, by the way. I'm
Yeah.
quiet quitting. And the first one's really sexy. Everyone wants to leave their job and make work optional, like work on a beach and stuff like that. But the thing is, you can do that with a W 2. Figure it out. You really
Oh,
can.
100%.
You really can.
Okay, so you've scaled. Let's just go straight into credit card points. Obviously, you're doing these reverse burrs and you're getting some points from me. So the most points you got, I'm sure you didn't have a million. Did you have $1 million in expenses or was there
No.
turn in and open in some like what was the secret sauce there?
Okay, so the fastest way that you're going to earn points and miles is through sign up bonuses, which is
Mhm.
opening a new credit card. So I knew I had this 26 that I could use. So what I do is in the moment that I'm ready, and of course, after I close, after escrow, do not open these cards when you're closing, right? Just FYI, if you didn't know that, I look at what has an elevated sign up bonus right now. And during
Mm.
that time, it was the Amex Business Gold. It was 110,000 point sign up bonus for 10K of spend. And it was also the Chase Business Inc. Unlimited that had an elevated sign up bonus of 90,000 points for it was either 6 or 8K of spend. So essentially, I had even more than what was the minimum amount to get those sign up bonus. So I ran that 26K. And so this is a little thing. I know some people out there, wait, doesn't it like charge you 3% to use a credit card if you are with a contractor? I was like, yes. And this is why I don't normally put those like renovation expenses credit card. It's only when I'm opening up a new credit card to earn the sign up bonus
Mhm.
because the points you're earning outweigh that 3% that you're going to be paying. Otherwise, you always want real money because points and miles is fake money, right? It has value, but as real estate investors and wealth builders, we are obviously going to value real money. So only time I'll use my credit card is when it doesn't have a fee or I'm doing a sign up bonus. But this is the hack. My general contractor, again, the realtor, the lender, he just has so much power, I feel, in Evansville. He let me pay a lump sum to him, and then he used that money to disperse to the other contractors who were doing the floor, who were doing the roof, who were doing the windows. So I didn't have to worry about all these like multiple transactions. I literally just was plop, here's this money. I'm at the sign up bonus for the Ink Unlimited. Plop, here's the sign up bonus, or here's the money to meet the business gold. And then that's how I got like 240,000 points from that 26K renovation. So $26,000 got me like 280,000 points, which I used again for Emirates round trip on business class and that 5-star luxury hotel.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then here's me on the side doing a calculator of I want to break down tactically for people who want to know what that breaks down. Say if you did get charged, and yeah, I know you did the lump sums, a little bit different, but if you did get
Yeah.
the 3% fee on say a $30,000 renovation, it's going to be $900.
It's not
But
much.
you would,
Yeah.
yeah, it would be how much in your sign up bonuses, how many, what's the value of those
Yeah.
points that you're
The
getting?
value of that whole like Lake Como trip with Emirates was 11,000. So I will gladly pay $900 3% fee for $11,000 of vacation. Plus you get memories with that kind of investment, right? And it's almost like a reward. So every time I close on a property, not only do I see it as an asset that I'm building wealth, not only do I get cash flow, but I get a free luxury vacation too. It's like triple threat that benefits your life if you just know how to travel hack using your real estate expenses.
That's the clip right there. I'm just gonna tell you anyways.
Okay, cool, cool.
No, I like that a lot. Okay, so then you're constantly opening. All for people who don't know, they think that the more credit lines you have, doesn't that worsen your credit? What's the quick rebuttal to that?
So once you open a credit card, and especially if it's a business credit card, what people don't realize is the application will incur a hard inquiry, right? Which will be a hit on your credit score of maybe just 2 to 7 points. But what it's actually happening is it's growing your credit limit, which shows that you are more responsible to the banks to handle more money. So even though in the beginning it might drop your credit score a little bit, overall it actually enhances your credit score. Not only that, you want to do it responsibly. So typically you don't want to open more than 3 credit cards every 6 months per credit bureau. So Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. So it's possible to really get around and really sequence everything to make sure that you're doing this in a strategic way so it's not ruining your credit score. Of course, if you're going to open 5 credit cards in a month, it's going to tank your credit score. And that's why you get all those horror stories. But you know what, Josh? This is what I say to help people understand. So I see credit cards like fire. So fire can heat up your food, it can heat up your house to warm it during the winter, but fire can also burn your food and it could burn your house down. So it's up to the user. And so that's why when you see those Dave Ramsey people are like, oh, credit cards, it's probably because they grew up in an environment where their parents didn't know how to use it like responsibly, or they didn't themselves and they got really tricked and in bad debt because they didn't know that, oh gosh, this interest really builds up over time. Whereas other people, if they knew how to do it responsibly, they are winning because now they're getting all this capital at 0% that they could leverage to scale their business without using their own money. So it's up to the user.
Totally, I agree with that. If you listen to this and you are not paying your credit card off every single month, then
Mhm.
none of these strategies apply. Like, just
Yep.
forget
Yeah.
it, skip
Yeah.
this one, save it, and then come back to when your credit
Exactly.
and your behaviors are
Oh,
better.
exactly. Yeah.
Because yes, if you rack up all these credit card points and now all of a sudden you pay the 20% interest, you're basically paying 20% more for everything that you buy.
Exactly,
It makes
exactly.
no
So
sense.
you're at a loss. And that's
Yeah.
why it's nice, like the kind of situation I'm in where you're getting the money up front. So you
Mhm.
already have the capital. And say, for example, you're like, I already have the capital in my bank, so I don't even need to use a credit card. I was like, no, that's the perfect situation because you just use the credit card as a pass through. It's just a pass through. And then you just pay it off right away because you have the capital. But look, now you're getting thousands of dollars in free travel. It's up to you if you want to do it or not.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, for me, most recently with my wife, we took us and our two kids to Hawaii completely on points. I think for all four of us and the hotels for the week, we spent 50K points. And actually, I didn't do any special like redemption stuff. Like I used to do like the transfer to United and then
Sure.
book on this flight and
Yeah.
when it was just us two. It's harder when you're trying to book more seats together.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Um,
I agree. But luckily for us on the West Coast, it's like easier to get to Hawaii on points, no matter how you do it, because we have more options.
all right, but what's your favorite redemption to Hawaii on points?
Oh, so I'm actually going to Hawaii in November.
Okay.
So it's for my cousin's wedding. I'm going to stay with my sister. So I would say this is going to be my favorite. So there is this card. It is the Hawaiian Airlines Barclays card. And
Hmm.
if you get a code, all you need to do is make one purchase. It could literally be a pack of gum or an iced coffee in my situation. Pay the annual fee in advance, which is $99 or $95. Then you get 70,000 Hawaiian miles. And guess how much miles it costs to go to Hawaiian in first class in their new Dreamliner from the West Coast? 40,000. So I am now going to Hawaii on their new Dreamliner on their like Boeing 777 in first class because I bought an iced coffee and knew how to use credit card points. So I call that a one flight stand because I'm not going to use that credit card afterwards. Going to try after a year. But in addition to that, I'm combining it. So I use my Chase points to book the Hyatt Regency for 3 nights, right? So that's
Mhm.
completely free. And then I'm staying another 3 days in Turtle Bay, which now became a Ritz. So it's now Ritz Carlton Turtle Bay. And I use my Amex Platinum. This year, the Amex Platinum is turning 40 years old. So it has a very unique promotion where you get the third night free in Fine Hotels and Resorts program. So Turtle Bay,
Mm.
obviously Ritz Carlton, was in their Fine Hotels program. I got a third free night. Just had to pay for the 2 nights, got a third free night. And not only that, you get early check-in, late checkout, you get $100 credit for the hotel, and you get free breakfast for two every morning. So I'm like, oh my God. And you get an upgrade. So that I will show you, Josh. I will tag you. I'll be like, hey, this is my favorite Hawaii redemption. And that one, it was nothing special. I just knew which credit cards to use. And those Chase points I naturally accrue through my Chase Ink Unlimited card, which I pass through all my tech software for my midterm rental co-hosting business. So Hospitable, Monday.com, Google Workspace, all of that just funnels through that ink card that just keeps accruing points. And then all of a sudden, 3 hotel nights in Waikiki.
Yeah. And then if you take it a step further and you
Mhm.
transfer it to the travel partners, which takes
Mhm.
it's an extra step. It's an extra, a
Yeah,
little bit extra research, but you generally use less points. Then you start to earn
exactly.
status and then you get all the extra perks like upgrades, even if the promotion's not there.
Yep, exactly. And that's the biggest thing every time it's weird because I feel like a lot of real estate investors like to travel and they're
Mhm.
like, I'm using the portal, I got it free. I'm like, nah, girl, you got to get out of the portal and get a better redemption because I went to Japan on points again through my real estate expenses in May. And I transferred my points it was from Chase to Singapore Airlines to book business class on Singapore Airlines, where in the portal would have cost 200,000 points. I got it for 123,000 points for business class on Singapore. So that's the thing. If you're still booking in the portal, 90% of the time it's ripping you off. There's
Yeah.
sometimes, domestically especially, you can get a good deal in the portal. It's not 100%, but usually it will charge you more points than transferring.
Yeah, I usually check both. I'll
Yeah,
open up
you
like the
have
Chase
to.
portal and then okay, especially for hotels, and a lot of times with the 2 young kids, we've been taking a lot more road trips than we've been flying,
Yeah,
and, but I still wanna stay at nicer hotels.
of course, of course. Want to shower?
I know, and just have more amenities, right? That's the whole point.
Exactly. And then the kids could play in the pool. You could just have your own time to relax. So it's nice. Because a lot of people don't realize this. You don't have to travel internationally in business class with your real estate expenses when travel hacking. If you want to take your family annually to Hawaii, you can do that. If you want to fly out to your properties that are out of state, you could do that. And it doesn't affect your bottom line because your business is paying for your flights, right?
Yeah,
There's so many ways to use it. Even for the people who are listening around, they're like, Jaina, I don't like traveling. I legitimately don't. I'm like, do you have a team or an employee that does? You could use that as an incentive for them to work towards that goal. Be like, hey, for my team member, whoever meets what kind of quota, I'll take your family to Hawaii, right? If you don't want to use it on yourself, or just in general to motivate them or surprise, thank them for all their
mhm.
hard work. Be like, hey, I'm going to take you guys on a trip to Vegas on me. You know what I mean? How great of a position you could be as a business owner to do that without even having to use your own money for your employees.
Totally.
Mhm.
And, like, worst case scenario, most of these portals too, especially with the premium credit cards, you can redeem them for gift cards, which is, like, the
Yes.
worst case scenario.
You still have that option. You have options. So that's the thing. That's the thing. Because honestly, if you're team cash back, do it. That's you. Because a lot of people are like, I just use it for cash back so that I could cut on the cost of renovations. Do whatever you want. At the end of the day, it's your points. I'm just here to let you know that, hey, there's this other thing that you could do if you
Mhm.
wanted to and you didn't know. It's absolutely available to any real estate investor just because you're a real estate investor. You're in a very unique position to use your business expenses in real estate for nearly free travel, even luxuriously.
Yeah, and then I guess the real geeky way to figure out if you're getting how good of a deal you're getting is the cost per point.
Exactly, CPP. A lot of people don't realize it. One way I like to put it is they're like, Jaina, I saw this Hilton sign a bonus. That's 150,000 points. Shouldn't I get that Hilton card over the Amex Gold for 90,000? So I was like, all right, his name is Queer Ralph, by the way. It's like, Queer Ralph, let me try to help you understand this. Okay. If I told you, do you want 150,000 Hilton pesos or do you want 90,000 Amex dollars? What would you choose? And he's, of course, dollars. Exactly. Because not all points are created equal. They're like currency, they have different values. So those bank cards, Chase, Capital One's, American Express, Wells Fargo, even Bill, they're going to be more valuable than those airline miles because they're flexible, right? So just know that whenever you see that number, it's not one to one, no matter what kind of credit card it is.
I also feel like Hilton's redemptions just suck.
They do. It's this is why I'm a Hyatt girl, because you could get like a $200 Hyatt hotel per night for 15,000 points per night.
Hmm.
The same kind of value, 200 Hilton a night is like 50,000 Hilton points. And I'm like, what a waste. I'm not going
Yeah.
to use any points for Hilton. Gosh, it's too much.
Yeah, yeah. That's also why I'm Team Hyatt too. We've been Team Hyatt for the last 10 years, and
Same. They have such a good program and so many ways to earn bonus points. So it's been nice.
yeah. You know what? What's your favorite Hyatt hotel
That I've stayed in.
ever? Yeah.
Okay, let me think. Let me think. Ooh, I really like Secrets Impressions Moshe in Cancun. It's an all-inclusive, adults only. It was just, oh my gosh. Usually I'm a kind of traveler who likes adventure. I don't like to just lay on a beach and chill. But that
Hmm.
one, it's just you're a queen or a king. Like you don't lift a finger. They're like, no, I'll get it for you. Don't do it. It's 24-hour room service. And they have all these restaurants. It's really all inclusive. And there was just like a billion pools, super nice facilities. It's really nice. So that has to be up there. But I am going to Alila Ventana and Big Sur next year.
Oh.
That one might overtake it. But also, I like a lot. I can't answer that question. I stayed at the Andaz Tokyo. That was great. So we'll see. And who knows? Ritz Carlton Turtle Bay? I don't know. That's a hard question. Sorry, I didn't really answer it.
Those are good ones. If we're making it more far north, last year we did stay at the Hyatt Alila, the one in Napa, and
Ooh, how was that?
that was a gorgeous property. Pool is very warm, and it was nice. We weren't in the summer, so it was actually nice to have that warmth. And then there was fire pits on every single deck.
Wow.
And that the points,
Mhm.
I think it was 25,000 points for a night. But the cash value for that weekend, we stayed for a weekend too.
That's
I think it was
weird.
like $2,200 a
So
night.
wild, so wild. So people don't realize that. Oh
Yeah.
my! So you just get one Chase Ink card for your business, and you'll get either 75,000 or 90,000 points, and then that could take you to a luxurious Hyatt hotel, even all inclusive with that Alila Ventana.
Mhm.
I spent 45 points per night, and then the per night cost is 3,000. I was like, oh my gosh, I would never go that without points. I would never go there. And that's what's beautiful about being real estate and using it for travel hacking is it opens doors to what you didn't think was possible. Because I hear a lot of investors, they're like, I want to get into real estate investing so I could have a portfolio so I can travel. And I was like,
Mhm.
actually, you could do that now. You could do that even before your first property. You just need to know which credit cards to use.
Okay, last tip. On your Big Sur trip, if you have an extra day,
Mm.
you should try and stay at least one extra night at what's a Carmel Valley Ranch. It's a Hyatt property. Maybe about like 40 minutes from Big Sur from that property, but it's like in a golf course, another gorgeous property that's not as many points. I think it's like a category 7 instead of like an 8.
Oh, that's still high
They have
though.
these, I know, but they have these beautiful eggshell
I've
tub.
seen it.
Yep.
I've seen. Okay, I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about now. Okay, wow. I didn't know that was that close to Alila Ventana.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
Good to know. Good to know. Well, see, I just blew all my chase points, but I'll build them back up.
Okay, so these are obviously wonderful ways to redeem them, earning them again. Let's go. Someone who hasn't had or hasn't played the credit card game yet. What's
Sure.
the first 3 cards they should get?
Okay. So it depends on their bank relationships. So if they're banking with Chase, I would always go with Chase because Chase is so sensitive to hard inquiries. They're like a jealous boyfriend. They don't like you banking with other banks. And they have this 524 rule that's unwritten. So at the end of the day, just start with Chase, to be honest. If you're a business owner, I would go the business side. So I would get the Chase Freedom, the Chase Ink Unlimited, right? Because that has multi-function. First of all, it's no annual fee. It has
Mhm.
0% APR for 12 months. So if you wanted to use that as capital to furnish your vacation rental, you could absolutely do that to meet the sign up bonus and then you get at least 75 points. And as we told you, like these hotels are like 15, 20, maybe at the high end 45,000 points per night. So you get a couple nights in nice luxury hotels even.
Yeah.
So you're going to run all your business expenses through that unlimited card because it gets 1.5 points per dollar on every expense unlimited. Then you need a credit card that's going to be your gateway travel card to allow you to transfer points. So you could either go on the personal side and do a Sapphire card, like a Sapphire Preferred with a 90 annual fee, or you could be a little bougie and get the Reserve that has fee. But essentially, those cards will allow you to transfer points like to Hyatt, as we were talking about. So
Mhm.
you're not stuck in the portal. But on the business side, the Ink Preferred has an annual fee of $95. That also allows you to transfer points to partners. So I would just keep it simple. Don't try to go wild and just open all these credit cards. Really just start off with a simple setup of 2, which is going to be your workhorse card. That's going to earn you more than 1 point per dollar on everything. So you put everything there. And then a travel card that is going to give you the gateway to be able to get better redemptions for your points. I would start off like that.
Yeah, and then what you're saying about the 524 means that you can't open more than 5 cards in 24 months.
Yeah, or else Chase will deny you. They're like, "Nope, sorry. We don't like you banking with other banks." I'm telling you. That's
I
why
know.
if you're gonna start relationships, start with Chase because not only do they have good business lending products, they also have a great travel program. So start with Chase. Yeah, and then but if you don't have Chase and you happen to be with Amex, go with that. Go with the bank that you have a relationship with because they know you as their customer and they'll give you better business approvals and higher credit limits. And then on the side, be like, "What up, Chase? Let me start this relationship with you." Like that.
Totally. And then for the audience, if you made it this far, I'd love to know just in the comments what your favorite credit card partner is. Are you guys team Chase? Are you guys team Amex? What else is a major player? Citi was big before, but not so much anymore.
Capital One, yeah,
Mm,
and Wells Fargo has a new travel card that has transfer partners now. They're getting into it, so that's interesting.
okay. And then how about switching back now?
Okay.
We went over to how to redeem, how to
Mhm.
start. Let's just talk about what's moving forward now. We've both been real estate investing for 3 years. We both co-host have Airbnbs and we both still have a day job.
Mhm.
What's changed over the last 3 years for you in terms of perception and reality? And what's the
Mm.
next steps as you move forward?
The biggest change I've seen was my mindset. And what I realized in being a W 2, it has pros and cons. Pros, obviously, you have that safety net of regular income coming in. But the cons I really find is that it limits you to seeing what's possible, right?
Mhm.
Because you're so comfortable, you're like, I don't have anything lighting a fire for me to have to figure out how to do something else. So now that I got into real estate and even entrepreneurship, I'm like, at the end of the day, my goal was never to have a safety net of a W 2. My goal was to have freedom of time and location
Mhm.
and finances. If I can attain that, I think for me, that's true wealth because now I have time to spend with my family, do whatever I want, and not have to worry about finances. And getting there usually is much easier through real estate and business than a W 2 for the most. It's not that a W 2 can't get you there, but you're trading a lot of your time for that money. Because I went to UCLA, so a lot of pre med, a lot of pre health people, and my closest friends are like dentists, orthodontists, doctors. Yes, they're balling, but oh my, they're always tired. And you know what? They're trying to get out. They're trying to get out and they're still in their 30s. They're like, Jaina, my neck. I'm a dentist. I'm like, I get it. You know what I mean? And maybe I don't make as much money as them with my W 2, but I have the most time freedom. So for me, I think, just in my opinion, everyone has their own opinion. I think I'm wealthier because I have that freedom of time.
Yeah, it is a million coulda, shoulda, wouldas for me, and I know because I live in San Jose, and I'm by all and I don't work in tech. I
No,
find, which is fun. What's
yeah,
also fun would be to have some NVIDIA stock options. That'd
I should have bought it. I should have bought it in money. Dang it.
So, like, hindsight 2020, I feel like if I could do it again, if you're, like, 20 years old or you're, like, ready to switch careers,
Yeah.
I would just suck it up and try and be an engineer for 10 years and just stack
Yeah.
options, and
Oh
that
my
was my nest egg.
Oh my God. If I could start over, I would just tell myself, girl, buy Bitcoin and stuff like that. Sell it at this time and then you're good.
Yes, I would also do that. If I
Right.
had to work, it would be
Right,
just
right.
suck it up and just be an engineer for
Exactly.
10 years, and then you would have a decent nest egg, assuming that you were in a
Agreed. I
decent
mean,
company.
if we're playing that game, I actually would have gotten into sales because
Mm,
with public health, I've learned to be a really good speaker, but not just that, even better, a better listener. And that's what
mhm,
people don't know how to do very well. And I realized that translates into sales very well. And
mhm.
if I got into whatever tech sales, just grinded it for 10 years, man, I'd be sitting pretty. And now I'm like, what do I do with this money now? Okay, now I could figure it out. But I feel like I could have really excelled in sales.
Yeah, you are a good storyteller, so I can see that for sure.
Thank
Enthusiastic. Yeah, for me, I was in the same way. I spent 8 years in public service in Hawaii, making
Man,
no money.
tough. But you like to say, I learned this. This is the
Uh,
experience.
sure, I say that now. I mean, but,
Yeah,
it's
what
all
other
paying off the
options
student
you got?
loans, and then what is that?
I hear. I was really lucky because my dad was in the Navy.
Mm,
10% of the Navy is Filipino. And so that really allowed me to have the opportunity to go to college. I remember he was like, "Enough, get into the best you can." Because it had to be like a public school. So I was like, I don't want to go to Berkeley. It was just not me. It was just not me. Went to UCLA. And fortunately, that VA tuition waiver goes until you're 26. So I
mm.
got my master's with that too. Thanks to my dad. Thanks to my dad creating opportunities for like immigrant children.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so then now, I guess going back, we totally avoided that question, actually, both of us did. But what are you focusing on now?
So right now, I'm trying to reverse engineer what is going to be the optimal way for me to replace my W 2 income.
Okay.
For me personally, my W 2 is very fulfilling. I don't have any need to replace it because I love showing up to work every single day. If there's a way for me to make that optional, that's what I'm trying to work towards. So I've joined a couple communities learning how to buy small businesses,
Mhm.
right? It seems like that's the move right now with the silver tsunami, the boomers selling their businesses. And it makes a lot of sense for what you're able to cash flow. Of course, there's still risk. Or getting into real estate that is just more cash flowing than my my long-term rentals in the Midwest. Possibly Airbnbs, but I do have a couple of private money lenders. So that's my second option. My third option is figuring out flipping. So it's just that quick hit of capital and then invest and maybe create a machine out of that. So those are my options right now. And I really need to take some time to figure that out. Maybe I'll do that on my flight to Japan next month. It's 12 hours. Like maybe write down some goals and figure it out. Because I'm a very distracted person.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested. I'm just interested in so many things. So I get shiny object syndrome really easily, unfortunately.
I'm the same way.
I know. Jack
Why
of all
not
trades.
why not flip in Evansville? Since you already have a
Oh,
team that you like and you have the financing and you could basically do it for free. Why not just, instead of hold it, sell it?
yeah. So my realtor said that it's very competitive. And he just was very transparent with me. He's like, you're going against me because I'm like the main flipper. And I was like, oh, my bad. I'll go somewhere else. I'll go somewhere else. So that's genuinely why
Gotcha.
you're really going against me. I'm like the main flipper there. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm actually looking in Montgomery because I co host there and it's a great market for a similar price point to be able to
Mhm.
do something and get similar profits. So I have a friend who also has a podcast, the Ricky Ricardo Show. He's doing that right now. And I'm like, I'm going to let me know how you do. Maybe I might pull one of my things with my business partner, Paul. I'm just going to copy him. So
Yeah.
that might be my next step. I guess I like copying.
I mean, why reinvent the wheel?
Exactly. So those are my options right now.
No, I'm very much in the same boat. We bought these rentals, and for the 90% of them are good. 10% of
Mm,
them are like,
yeah.
and so then the good ones pay for the meh ones.
Yeah, exactly.
And but it's still not enough for me to quit and support 2 kids in the Bay Area. The
Yeah.
equity though has been great, but
Mhm.
it's not, as my wife says, target money.
Okay, gotcha. Good way to put it. Uh-huh.
So, like, I started thinking about flipping. Could we also flip here in the Bay Area? I thought about, we have a bunch in Columbus too, but obviously you're making less for the
Yeah.
same amount of work. My shiny object has been, could I get into new development and new construction?
Okay. So what about that? How come that's so shiny for you?
It's shiny because, one, I actually picked up a marketing client I do consulting for and ad funnels for his builder business here in the Bay Area.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And so he's built like 30 custom homes, like all
Wow.
in up the peninsula. These are the
Bougie.
5, 6, 7, 10 million homes.
Oh, wow.
But he's always been the builder. He's never been the developer, aka the person who also buys the land and raises the money.
Ah, I
He just
see.
makes the GC fee, the builder fee of like 20 to
Oh,
30% with zero risk.
must be nice.
I
Must be
know.
nice. Oh my
And
God.
and
Get into
and so
that.
I've toured a few of these projects with him, and, like, he was showing me the numbers in the spread, and he's like, "The people, they bought the house for this much. Like, they bought this tear down fixer upper for 2 million,
Yeah.
put in 2 million for construction costs,
Yeah.
but now it's worth 6, 7."
Wow.
And
Wow.
if you
And
have 1 million, if you have just 1 million in financing costs, you're all in for 5,
oh my God. That's so
but then
wild.
it's worth 7. And then are you walking away with 1 million?
Wow. And
Or
what
like
like
a
what's the
million
time
plus when it's
frame?
all said and done.
Wow. What's the time frame for that?
Like 18 months, 2 years maybe the most.
Imagine. Oh my
So
God. Do that. Then I could copy you.
I know. So
Yeah.
I obviously want to get in on apprentice side, and there's another group too that's also doing it, who I'm meeting with next week, who needs
Okay.
some help on some marketing, but is also doing the actual developers, hiring the builders.
Gotcha. Ooh,
But
you're gonna
they
both.
have a fund and need
Yeah.
some marketing help for the fund. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping to arbitrage my help into getting
Nice.
a sliver of their project just to
Oh,
exactly how it feels.
yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, leverage your
Um,
knowledge. Oh man, that's the play.
so
People are saying like leverage your knowledge to get equity in deals. And I'm like, how? Gotta figure that out
yeah,
too.
no, it's just, could you get, like, for us, even on the syndication route, yes, for general partners, sounds super cool.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
ultimately, we're on the operating agreement, and that's proof of concept for us on the loan side, but we're not getting
Right.
any other upside aside from what we got, like a small sliver of the acquisition fee,
Mhm.
and we also bought in as an LP.
Gotcha. You're
The
kind of
upside is, what was that?
you're just leaving it to the other people to handle it.
No, but we're also on the asset, like, we're also asset managing.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
we're apprentices working for free-ish.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
It's
Nice.
basically, there's some people who pay 20 grand for mastermind, or can you find a way to MacGyver yourself, add value onto a team, and then get on the team without having to pay the 20K entry fee for the
Yeah.
mastermind, which a lot of the gurus do.
Nice. Interesting.
But our upside is the same as the LPs, not as the people running the deal,
Gotcha.
because
Gotcha.
we're apprenticing.
But you're still gonna learn and then maybe eventually.
Yeah, and it's a nice talking point. It looks good on the Instagram bio, that's for
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. Oh, for sure. You don't need to put the apprentice part on there. Just put the real name.
Oh, no, I own that. That's why I say all
There you
this
go.
stuff.
There you
But
go.
it's the way to get a seat at the table, and then the
Uh,
second time we did it, I negotiated some actual shares of the upside of the assisted
wow.
living deal, and so now I just demand a higher a
Mhm.
asking price for my involvement now. But, like, I didn't deserve any sliver of it, because what do I do? I would just be like, "I don't know what to do.
I'm
Tell me
here.
what to do." So what do I deserve? Nothing.
But you worked it. You worked your way up, and that's a goal for a lot of people. You just gotta find a route to
Yeah.
like get yourself at the table, or even just get your foot in the door of the room. That's always the first step, and then it's up from there. It's up from there. So that's awesome.
All right, last question for you. What's been the one unlock? Either the one relationship, like the one dinner, the one meal that you had, the one coffee meeting. What was the unlock for you?
Oh man, what a loaded question. I will say it's when I became okay. Now let's back up. What is the unlock? Okay. I got it. So I joined Lattes and Leases
Mm,
course on raising private money.
love it.
So a skill set I wanted to learn to figure out because I was trying to scale my real estate business. But what that turned into was her asking me how to travel hack her Italy trip, which she just came back from, and
Mhm.
eventually me becoming her community manager. And the reason why this unlocked for me was in so many facets. First of all, it's learning how powerful a community is,
Mhm.
right? Secondly, how powerful a personal brand is. And thirdly, realizing that opportunities to make money are abundant because of your brand, because of your community. So
Yeah.
once I got in that community, people started to know and trust me, and they just never seen me before because I had a smaller Instagram account. But because now I'm with Soli, they associate me with her. And they're like,
Mhm.
I like you. I just never seen you. And that has allowed me to create a coaching program that in the past year I've made more money from than my co-hosting business. So that was an unlock for me. And I was like, oh my God, I could develop a product that people will buy because it solves their problem and they trust me. So I learned that from Soli. I've actually never told that to her, but obviously working with her and seeing how she thinks and how much of a businesswoman she is, but also valuing people can take you so far.
Yeah.
So you solve people's problems, you put people first, the money comes. And that was the unlock for me.
Yeah, totally. You just keep posting results, keep sharing results, keep bringing other people along, and it can't help but naturally just be like, "Hey, that worked for me. You should also try this too." It becomes this
Exactly.
crazy funnel.
Exactly. And so sometimes I think about it, I was like, if I really went into it, maybe I could just be a full-time coach and make more money than my W-2. But I was like, that makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to quit. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I'm not there and that's not my desire. But I see it now. Like I was like, I've never seen that possibility if it wasn't to just meet the right person that gave me an opportunity.
Okay, so maybe as a teaser, as a potential in the future episode 2, what are the 3 things you need to build a community?
Oh gosh. Okay. I would say to get rid of the fear of what people think about you because I
Mhm.
think that is a big barrier for people making content. And I looked at some of my content even just 2 years ago and I was like, dang, that was whack. That sucked. You know what I mean? But you keep getting better. You
Yeah.
just have to be consistent. So the first thing is mindset. Just do it. Like Nike. Just do it and get started and be consistent because you'll get better at it. The first one. And then two, find a problem that you could solve, right? That's really what it is. Someone has lung cancer. I need to help them quit smoking. That's a problem too. So that's something I'm used to doing in a W-2. And three, know how to communicate well. I would say that because you combine all those skills, you'll generate people's attention and their trust and them liking you as a person because there's someone for everyone, right? Everyone will like you as a person because you can have a regular account and give information, but you don't have a personal brand. Because if you switch your niche, people might not follow you because they were just following you for your content and not you as a person. So I
Yeah.
think it's really about having a personal brand to build that community, communication, and solving a problem.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate you dropping all the knowledge today on credit card hacks, building community, and all of some of the fun real estate stuff you're doing.
Of
Jaina, if
course.
people want to connect with you, how can they find you?
Sure, they can follow me on Instagram. I'm Jaina_Anne, so JAINA_AN.
And then obviously I will leave that linked down in the description below. But Jaina, I really appreciate you jumping on. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to give it a and then share this with someone that you know is probably not doing the best job with the credit card points, or you challenge them
Let
on a
them
little
know.
redemption battle.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, Josh. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, and we'll see you all next time. Bang. Dunzo.
Boom, nice.